on the clock with Answer the Call mock draft edition. And here we go. Broken record. No shocker here. With the first pick, the Raiders take quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Yay. We know the first pick. If the Raiders don't take Mendoza, this would be like the biggest swerve in recent memory in terms of the NFL draft. This has got to be like the worst kept secret. Fernando Mendoza going number 1. But like, what if the Raiders say, hey, maybe I don't want Mendoza. Maybe I want an elite pass rusher. Oh, wait, we already have those. Maybe I want an offensive tackle. Oh, wait, the last time that happened, that an offensive tackle went first overall was 2013, the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe they're like, oh, I want Jeremiah Love. No, they don't, because they have Ashton Genty. I don't see a wide receiver going first overall. So, like I said, worst kept secret, it is Fernando Mendoza. But in the off chance that they don't, obviously the Jets would take Fernando Mendoza at 2. They're not. The Jets are going to take edge rusher David Bailey from Texas Tech. I really like this guy. He had a great combine. You watch the tape. This is what the Jets need in terms of that defense. And I got to say, number 2, the Jets, they get their guy. Hang on, right here in the middle of this pitch grid. Thoughts on the NFL approving a vote for the sale of the Raiders. Interesting. Did that just happen? Set to vote on Raiders secession plan despite Mark Davis's unwillingness to sell. Wow. Interesting. I don't know, because that's interesting. Because, Mark Davis, Tom Brady is a minority owner. Would that be who it is? So, all right, moving right along. Number 3, sorry for the interruption, but like I said, I will try to answer questions live. Maybe next time I'll wait till the end of the mock draft, but I wanted to answer that one real quick. Cardinals take edge rusher Arvell Reese from Ohio State. Another edge rusher going off the board. And the Cardinals are kind of in a position they could take the offensive tackle Francis Maui-Noah. They could, take somebody else. They could take somebody like Sonny Styles. But I think they're going to go edge rusher. They want to solidify that defense a little. And I like the pick, guys. I like the pick here. Now, this is where it gets interesting because Brian Daboll, Cam Ward, we saw what the Tennessee did on defense and free agency. They did go out and get Wan'Dale Robinson. In this mock draft, I have them taking running back Jeremiah Love. Now, I do want to point out that I am hearing there are rumors that the Giants could be willing to trade up if necessary to draft Jeremiah Love. If you remember my last mock draft, I had the Giants taking him at 5. Some people thought I was crazy, but it might not be so crazy after all. So, but for this mock draft, they're going to take Jeremiah Love. The Titans are at number 4. Maybe in a future one, the Giants trade up a spot, draft Jeremiah Love. Who knows? So that leaves the Giants to take linebacker Sonny Styles. I don't think there's a way. There's definitely not a way that Styles makes it out of the top 10. Where he falls in that is to be determined. Now, an interesting note, the Chiefs have 2 first-round picks. They have number 9 and they have number 29. 29! Sorry, I had to. Anyway, what if they opted to trade up just a bit and draft Sonny Styles? Because linebacker is a big need. So, I don't know. But not for this mock draft. That could be a future mock draft. Who knows? I'm getting ahead of myself, guys. I'm getting so excited. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sonny Styles at number 5. Browns at number 6 are going to take wide receiver Carnell Tate. They need wide receiver help. They went out and they kind of fixed that offensive line in free agency. I think they still address it. Maybe in round 1 or 2 of the draft, they do have 2 first-round picks. So that could still happen. But for this, they need playmakers on offense. Todd Monken is going to want playmakers. Get them Carnell Tate, and let's see whatever quarterback they roll out decides that they can do, because they could draft a quarterback for all we know. They could go in there with 5 quarterbacks in the season and rock, paper, scissors, or pick numbers, Oh, I'm thinking of a number. Pick this number. Who knows what the Browns are going to do? Commanders at number 7. They don't have Marshawn Lattimore anymore. This is where it gets interesting too, because for a future mock draft, this is where the Chiefs could very well trade up and take the top corner in this draft, but not for this mock draft. The Commanders take corner Mansour Delane from LSU. Great corner. It's a big need, and this is a guy that can, you can leave him on an island by himself and he's going to lock that one side of the field down. So this would be a great fit for the Commanders, I feel like. Number 8, the Saints take edge. I'm going to say they're going to take edge Ruben Bain because I apparently have Arvell Reese twice for some reason. So we're going to say they take Ruben Bain at number 8. The Saints need an edge rusher bad. They need help on the defense in the worst of ways. And this would be a great way to solidify an edge spot, is taking one of the top edge rushers in this draft class. The Chiefs at number 9. Now, offensive tackle is not necessarily a glaring need, but Patrick Mahomes coming off of an injury, or Justin Fields for that matter, is going to need time. They're going to need help. And what better way to do that than taking Francis Maui Noah, offensive tackle from Miami? Put him on the right side, move people around. And I think this would be a great fit for the Chiefs. I think they'd come in. Now, I know Chief fans, I know it's not a sexy pick, but it's a pick. All right. It's the pick. And they need offensive line help. Now, they could go many, many directions here. Depends on how the draft. And I also wouldn't be shocked if they just traded back to get extra picks. So who knows what the Chiefs are going to do? It's still up in the air. At number 10, the Bengals take safety Caleb Downs from Ohio State. So if you're keeping track, 1, 2, 3, 4 Ohio State players in the top 10, guys. This is definitely a glaring need, I feel like. It's not a glaring need, but he's the best player at this point for them. You don't want to reach for a defensive line. You don't want to reach for one of the other linebackers. Sure, they could take an edge rusher because they just lost Hendrickson. But, I mean, they do have the 10th overall. They have the 41st, and they have the 72nd, all in the top 100. So this is kind of a deeper edge class than people really give credit for. And so what better way? You just go out and get a great safety and maybe move some pieces around. So we have made it through the top 10, guys. We made it through the top 10. Dolphins, what? So Dolphins, I didn't actually get to say this, but in the call report, when I was talking about them trading, they're paying $175 million in dead money, more than half of their salary, going to players not on their team. They cut Tua, they traded Waddle. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. And for Dolphin fans, I'm sorry. There's not a whole lot of hope right now. I mean, you got to draft well. You got to build for the future, because I don't know, guys. There's just not a whole lot going for you right now. I'm not sold on Malik Willis at quarterback. I'm still not really 100% sold on the head coach. I don't know. Maybe he'll come in and shock us. But you don't have Tyreek Hill. You don't have Waddle. So you got to draft a wide receiver here. Wide receiver, Makai Lemon. It's Makai Lemon from USC. With Carnell Tate already off the board, Dolphins need an offensive playmaker. Now, they could go a couple different ways here because, they need wide receiver, corner, edge, O-line, safety. What don't they need? I mean, honestly, if I was them and if I was the Dolphins and my top 3 players, maybe Makai Lemon is one of their top 3 players. I don't know. But if I was them and my top 3 players, or maybe even my top 2 players, were already off the board, I would trade away. I would trade back, acquire a few extra picks, because you need all the help you can get in draft, because you owe a lot of money to players not on your team. So don't be shocked if maybe the Dolphins are a candidate to trade back and come draft time. So I like it. Right now with Makai Lemon at number 11. Number 12, Cowboy fans. Are you out there? I don't know. I can't see you. Matty D, Cowboy fans, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones. Please don't be mad at me. But I got the Dallas Cowboys taking offensive guard Vega Ionne from Penn State. Yep, I know. Another offensive line that they may or may not use, but you got to protect Dak Prescott. You got to open up more lanes in the run game. What better way than one of the best offensive linemen in this year's class, especially on the interior, and Ionne. And if you remember the Cowboys of the 90s, which some do, well, all Cowboy fans remember the 90s because that was their glory days. But if you remember the 90s, they had a strong run game. They had great offensive line. And there for a while in the, even in the 2000s, 2010s era, they were drafting linemen almost every year in the first round. I mean, when they had Travis Fredrickson and, Zach Martin, they had they had Tyron Smith. I mean, they had a plethora of big boys, and this is another one right here. Real quick, after that Dallas Cowboy pick, we have the pitch grid sharing with us that Michigan leading Howard by 4 at the half. That is not a very big lead. That is not a very big lead for a number 1 seed. But we saw earlier Duke overcoming the double-digit point at halftime. So Rams are up next, and this is really interesting because when I'm looking at their team needs here, they need offensive line, wide receiver, edge, linebacker, and defensive back. Well, Maui Noah's not there. Ionne's not there. A few of the top edge rushers aren't there. Sonny Styles isn't there. I got them going tight end Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon. I know they brought back Tyler Higbee, but let's just go stock up this offense. Huh? Let's give Matt Stafford all the playmakers he can handle for one final run at a Super Bowl and maybe a back-to-back MVP season. I'm all for it. I'm for it. So I got the Rams taking tight end Kenyon Sadiq. Ravens flock up. Offensive tackle guard Spencer Fanu. Jesse Minter is going to want to establish the trenches, and what better way than getting a utility offensive lineman? This guy said he would play center if he needs to. He'll play guard. He knows how to play tackle. He has the short arms. I get it, but this guy is a ball player. He is just a team player. He's going to put the team first, and that's kind of what they're going to need after the whole Max Crosby thing. We're not going to talk about it, but, the Max Crosby thing, new head coach. So I think going out and getting a great player, team player like Spencer Fanu has to be the focal point here. Offensive line is definitely a strong need. They need edge, wide receiver, defensive line, corner. So, I mean, they could go anywhere, but I look for them to either take an O lineman, but I don't know if they really need an edge after getting Hendrickson. So I look for them to take maybe an offensive lineman here. So I don't know. I know not very sexy picks in the top 15 with the 2 linemen, but you got to have linemen. You got to have them. I mean, they're essential. All right. Bucks fans. Let's see. I don't know. There's a few people out there that are Bucks fans. You're going offensive tackle Blake Miller from Clemson. Blake Miller from Clemson comes in. He can protect, and some say that he could be like one of the best tackles in this year's draft class. Like, he's an underrated player. So I don't know. Like, let me know, Bucks fans. Like, how do you feel about this? Do you want an offensive lineman in the first round? Nobody wants it. I get that. But would you be mad at this? All right. The Jets. Jets. They are taking a surprise pick here, guys. This one's going to baffle some of you guys. They're taking a wide receiver, but not the wide receiver you're thinking of. They're not taking a Jordan Tyson. They're not taking a KC Concepcion. They're not taking, whatever, another one of those wide receivers that are projected to go in the first round. They are going to take wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr. Omar Cooper Jr. Grid. All right. Where were we? That's right. Jets taking Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver from Indiana. I know this is going to come as a shock, guys, but hey, Jets need a wide receiver, and I'm just not sold on Jordan Tyson. He had some injuries, and I'm just not sold on him, guys. So I got him taking Omar Cooper Jr. Now, here we go. Another lineman coming off the board at number 17, and that is offensive tackle Monroe Freeling from Georgia. This is kind of another one of those underrated players, and he could go a lot higher, but with this heavy edge rushing class at the top, some of these linemen are going to fall, but don't be surprised if some teams are like, hey, I need an offensive lineman. We need it in the worst ways. We're going to go up and get this guy. So, but I have the Detroit Lions taking Monroe Freeling. Viking fans, skull, or whatever they say. I don't know. They're going to take safety Dylan Thieneman from Oregon. This guy is arguable. I mean, he's in the running. He could be like the top safety. I mean, obviously Caleb Downs will be, but you know, you can't, any team that drafts him, Thiemann, they're getting a great player. They're going to get, you know, they're getting their money's worth with this guy. Panthers are going to take corner Jermod McCoy from Tennessee. The one thing that kind of is a hang up on this guy is he had that injury that kind of took a little bit longer than it should have. But for now, they're taking him. All right, Cowboy fans, the Matty D, Jerry Jones, Cowboy fans, you're going to go the opposite side of the line. You're going with an edge rusher. I did it in the last mock draft. I'm sticking with it. Akeem Mesidor going to the Dallas Cowboys at number 20. They're just kind of seems like it's like a perfect fit for him. So Steelers. Okay. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not going to lie when I tell you that I really was racking my brain on this one. Okay. I'm sitting here and I'm blowing through this mock draft. And when I'm doing it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is easy. You know, like I already kind of know where I want to put these people. And then the Steelers, you know, and let's look at the Steelers because earlier I was talking about them. They have 12 picks. They have the 21st. They have the 53rd. They have the 76th. They have the 85th. They have the 99th. They have 5 picks in the top 100. They have the 121st, the 135th. They have 7 picks in the top 150. They have a lot of needs. Quarterback, offensive line, wide receiver. Though they did go out and get Michael Pittman, but maybe you want to stock up on those wide receivers. They need a defensive back. They need defensive line. I did not know where to go with this for one reason. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there or not, okay? If Aaron Rodgers is there, easily go take a defensive back or a defensive lineman or even an offensive lineman for that matter. But I don't know. So in this mock draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers are taking quarterback Ty Simpson. You know, I don't know. Like I said, I got to this. I was just breezing right through it, and here we go. So let me know, guys, what you think about that pick. Well, here we go. My Chargers, bolt up. Okay, we didn't address the offensive line like I thought we were going to. Yes, we signed people. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the last episode. Go watch the clip, and on YouTube, it's the thumbnail is a picture of Charlie Kohler, and go check that clip out, and you'll see my thoughts on this. But so we're going to try to fix this offensive line in the first round, and offensive tackle Caden Proctor from Bama. He can also play guard. He's really athletic. And I think this would be kind of a great fit in that Mike McDaniel offense, and where he tends to value tackles more. Now, I know tackle isn't a need because of Slater and Alt. Like I said, he could kick into guard if need to be, and that would just essentially he just wants to put like 4 big tackles and a center, you know, and that could be the offensive line. So Caden Proctor from Bama goes to the Chargers. And now I will tell you, if certain players are not there, I would not be mad if the Chargers traded back, because looking at their team needs, offensive line, edge, defensive line, corner, safety, only 5 picks though. Only 5 picks. The 22nd, the 55th, and the 86th in the top 100, 123rd, and 204. So I don't know. If we're only a few players away, then sure, take the pick. But if we need to add a few depth pieces to make sure that we don't lose in the first round, trade back a couple spots, acquire a couple extra picks, and add some more talent to this team. So here we go, moving right along at number 23. The Eagles take edge TJ Parker from Clemson. They need somebody. They lost Jalen Phillips in free agency to the Panthers. They need somebody to fill that hole. You know, they have a lot of holes that they need to fill. And Howie Roseman is one of those guys that, you know, he's going to be making deals on draft day. So the Browns with their second pick in the first round. Now, they did address offensive line. I already addressed the wide receiver. I'm going offensive tackle from Utah, Caleb Lemieux, and kind of a shocker here, but Browns need to revamp that offensive line. And they did it in free agency, but you're still missing a few pieces. I think this is what helps that quarterback take it to the next level and turn this Browns offense around. So not the sexiest pick, but it's a much needed pick right here. The Bears need an edge rusher in the worst way, and they're going to take edge Cassius Howell from Texas A&M. I mean, it just seems like, I know he has, kind of shorter arms. There seems to be a pattern here. I also would not be shocked if he moved to like linebacker. That guy could probably play linebacker. So I have him taking this guy at number 25, and I mean, it just seems right. Bills are going to take linebacker CJ Allen from Georgia. They need a linebacker. And I mean, they have O-line, edge, DB ahead, but I mean, they also need a D lineman, and there are a couple of good D linemen coming up. So who knows? But right now, I have them taking CJ Allen. I was trying to mix it up a little bit, and I put a few players, kind of not where I had them before. So I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. I don't want every mock draft to be exactly the same. The 49ers are taking wide receiver Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, and I know with the signing of Christian Kirk and bringing in Mike Evans, what better way than to draft a wide receiver, let him learn under two vets. I also, with them two specific players, they could go a more speedy option, but right now they're going to take Jordan Tyson. This probably won't be the pick come my final pick, but I think I already had Jordan Tyson selected before the signing of Christian Kirk, and I didn't change that one. I guess I forgot. The Texans defensive line, Lee Hunter from Texas. Texans need help on that interior defense, and they're going to get a big boy. He's a big old run stopper. He's not super athletic, but you don't need him to be. Just put him at defensive tackle, put him at that nose tackle, and let him clog the lane. So we have Lee Hunter going to the Texans. 29, the Kansas City Chiefs via the Rams. Linebacker Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas. This guy is a baller. This guy can be a true middle linebacker, a true Mike linebacker, and, could possibly be the second best linebacker in this class, but he's probably the third best. What better team for him to go to than the Kansas City Chiefs? And this will help that defense in a great way. So Chief fans, let me know. Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker from Texas. Dolphins via the Broncos are taking corner Avian Terrell from Clemson. I watched him at the combine, and then I watched some of his tape, and I got to tell you, this guy he's pretty good. So, and that's an understatement. He's the brother of AJ Terrell. We all know what AJ was, the player AJ Terrell is. So this kid is just as good and helps the Dolphins in a tremendous way because they need some secondary help. The runner-up in the Super Bowl, the Patriots take edge Keldrick Folk from Auburn. And this, I know that they might need the production year one, but let this guy go in under Mike Vrabel as head coach and let him learn from one of the best defensive players on a championship winning team. And Keldrick Folk comes in and really helps that defensive line. And finally, the Seattle Seahawks at number 32. They could go a couple of different ways. They also could trade out. They have 4 picks total, not very sexy, and they kind of lost a lot. And I just want to point out that they do have 3 in the top 100, the 32nd, the 64th, and the 96th. But then after the 96th, they don't have another pick until the 188th via the Browns. So they need running back, corner, offensive line, edge, wide receiver. And this one, I have them taking a corner, and that is Colton Hood, the other tight end or the other corner from Tennessee. I was 1T too early on that. The Seahawks are taking corner Colton Hood from Tennessee. They could also take Jadarian Price and Mike Washington at running back. They are probably going to trade. I think they would probably trade and acquire a couple of picks in the second and third round, or acquire a second or third round and kind of build some depth. So that is the mock draft, guys. That is the mock draft. Let me know what you guys think. And is your team, are you happy with what I gave your team?